Hello everybody, how are you doing? It's Sunday. I'm getting a little bit of shop time today. Just had a really busy week. Want to let you guys know I got new tires for my trailer. I'll be picking those up Monday. They're getting installed on the rims. And I went ahead while I had the tires off. I pulled the bearings, put new bearings, front and rear bearings in the hubs. Got them all greased and ready to go, and they're spinning like it's amazing how much easier they spin. The old ones, it looked like one side had been underwater at one point because it was actually rusty in there, so I had to clean all that out. So that was a nightmare. I didn't film it because a lot of people complained when they saw the video where I was talking about replacing the wheels. So they didn't like that. I guess they just want woodworking updates. So I'm still going to do other updates, but I felt like, well, you know, a third video on the trailer probably just isn't a good idea. So I didn't do that, but let me flip around and show you. I've been fiddling with the lathe here a little bit. I haven't done anything to disassemble the lathe. I'm still debating. I've been picking up items I need. So this is some oil that you use to oil it. Of course, that's for my weed eater. I got a new oil can, things like that. But I got my book back here, and I've just been studying the explosion diagrams because I'm trying to make a decision whether I want to take this lathe and just basically fire it up and start using it as is, or whether I want to take the time to start disassembling the pieces, oiling them up and making sure everything is in good working order and making sure there are no issues or missing parts that I can't tell by just looking, you know, at the lathe from a surface view. I haven't checked in for a while, so I wanted to pause real quick and show you guys what I've been working on. Two projects. Take a look. This is the first one. This is a Gisi Blank. I've got it drilled out and I've got the tube glued in, and I'm just waiting for the glue to dry so I can square the ends and take it to the lathe. That patchwork blank that I was working on out of all of my scrap pieces, today I set the fence on my table saw sled to 45 degrees and I cut roughly 1.5 inch wide sections off of the blank, and then I mix them all up and I'm in the process of gluing them back together. When I'm done, I'm going to do the same thing except in the opposite direction. This should give a really unique and interesting looking pattern to all of the blanks that I get out of these scrap pieces. So that's what I've been working on today, just trying to finish those projects up. I've been recording the patchwork blank. The Gisi blank I didn't record, I just took some photos of, and I've been posting that over on Instagram. While I'm waiting, I got a little bit of time to wait, maybe 20 minutes or so before I can do anything else. So I'm going to goof around with this lathe a little bit and just try to familiarize myself with it as much as possible. And still, I'm at that break point where I'm not sure, do I want to disassemble it and you know, go through the whole thing, or do I want to just go ahead and start attempting to use it and see what happens? I'm going to keep you guys posted on that because I still am not 100% sure what I want to do. All right, everybody, I had to make a decision on the lathe, so let's talk about what we're going to do. As you can see, I've decided to start taking it apart and just do a little refurbishing to it. I don't know that I'm going to go all the way into painting it or anything like that. I kind of like the patina on it. I want it to look used, and I don't want to worry about scratching it. But what happened is, and it's going to be kind of hard to show you, but the back gears, I could not get them to engage. This gear kept interfering with the pulley right here. Okay, you can kind of see the back gears right there. And the gears were shifted over. And I got to looking, and it was missing a collar, which should shift everything to the left and should get it out of the way of the pulley. Now, what happened is I got to looking at this explosion diagram of the front gears, and there's supposed to be a spacer here which was not here. I found that spacer between this gear, the main drive gear, and this set of pulleys. So somebody has had this thing apart before, and while they've had it apart, they put it back together incorrectly. Now, luckily, the missing spacer I happen to have. There was one spacer in the drawer. So I've got that. We're going to be in good shape. I have everything I need to put that back together. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to clean everything thoroughly. I think I'm going to swing by the place where I bought the bearings for my trailer and go ahead and pick up a brand new set of bearings for this. There's a couple of other little items. These are called Gits oilers, and there is a little wick in there. I don't know how well you can see that. And you put this 80 W90 oil into these little caps here, and it soaks the wick, and then that continuously lubricates the bearings. This one, the spring is broken on, so I think I'm going to try to source another one of those. As we look at the back gears, there's a little handle here that lets you engage the gears. There's an eccentric, this piece here and this piece here, they call them eccentrics. They're off center. You can see the diagram there. And this little gear lets you move the back gears into the front gears, or the main gears, or pull them away from the main gears. I need that little handle. As I look down in the drawer, I think I've got everything else that I need. Nothing looks in bad shape, and really the bearings don't even really look in bad shape. I mean, if you take a look at them, they're not worn or scarred or marred up. And I may just take this shaft over to the bearing place and ask the fellow to look at it and give me an opinion, because it's a place called Tri-State Bearings, and that's what they specialize in. I really don't think this lathe has had an extensive amount of use, because nothing appears to be worn. There's no scarring on the shaft or anything. It looks really good. I think what it needs is just a good thorough cleaning, proper reassembly, and maybe just a tiny bit of tweaking. So a couple of minor parts. I'm going to make some notes, and we're going to see if we can source those through eBay or one of the parts places that specializes in older machines like this. So now that I've got the headstock apart, the next step is I'd like to turn my attention to these gears. Now, everything on this side of the lathe appears to be there. I am going to take a much closer look, but I haven't found anything in the explosion diagrams that's missing. I am missing a bunch of these gears. These gears are used to control the speed of the main screw for threading, or for moving the tool into the project so that you can get a nice clean cut. I have contacted the auction house where I purchased the lathe, and I told them that there were some pieces missing. Now, this lathe, you might remember, came on like a cabinet that had 6 drawers in it, and what I'm guessing happened is whoever owned it, they probably just had a bunch of miscellaneous tools in there, maybe, wrenches, pliers, hammers, whatever, and they thought, well, I don't want to give away all my tools, so they probably dumped those drawers in a box, and there's probably a box sitting somewhere that has all these miscellaneous pieces and parts in it. That's what I'm hoping. And I asked them if they wouldn't mind passing my name when the people come in to accept the payment for the lathe, passing my name onto them and my phone number. And if they have any of those tools, I'd be interested in buying them from them. Now, granted, I can get all of this stuff on the internet. There are places that sell it, but the issue is, sourcing it will take a long time. One piece at a time takes a long time. So I'm really hoping that they do contact me. And I thought that it might have been someone who passed and the family just didn't know what to do with it, so they sent it to the auction house. But I found out the original owner brought it in to sell it, and they said he's an older gentleman, and he just said he doesn't use it anymore. He can't because of his physical health. So keeping my fingers crossed that they do pass my info along, and that he does call me, and maybe he has some of those gears, because they all came with the lathe. If not, I'll source them one piece at a time. I'll do it Johnny Cash style, right? At this point, shut the camera off, and I'm just going to keep working with stuff and cleaning, and just see how much of this I can prep, and see how many parts I can find that I need to source, for the time being, because that'll also help me. If he does call me, I'll know what to look for. I'll keep you guys posted on what happens and where I get to. Making more progress, guys. While the glue was drying, I've gone through the lathe from front to back with the explosion diagram, and it looks like probably 98% of the stuff is there. What's missing is little stuff like on the tailstock. Let me flip you around and show you. There's a handle on the tailstock, and then there's a sleeve and a lock spacer that goes in there. That's all minor stuff. Everything is here. I noticed this handle it looks like it's been cut off, and I think what's happened is it normally has 2 of these little pieces that stick out, and it's probably difficult to turn. It gets in your way because your hand is so big and it's so small. I think somebody probably cut that off. I think I'm going to leave that alone. This handle's missing a nut, but all of the part numbers are in the manual. So, and it's all minor stuff except for the gears. I've gotten this side taken apart somewhat. The trick is going to be the little stack of gears that lets you change the screw speed for threading, etc. So that's where I think the expense is going to be. Beyond that, it's not looking too bad. I think the next step is this motor. Motor runs fine. You probably can't see inside of it too well, but it is just packed with dust and dirt. Now you can't see anything on that side. And I think what I'm going to have to do is pull the casing off the motor, open it up, and just get in there and clean all that years and years of just dust, shop dust is what it looks like, out of it, because I don't need a fire hazard. But the motor runs well. It's a Dayton motor. It is let's see, I think it's a 1/2 horsepower. Should be fine for the small stuff I want to do, but I don't need a fire hazard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to go in the house here in a little while, and over the next couple of days, I'm going to hop online on eBay, etc., and just see what these parts, because like I said, it's things like a bushing here or a nut there. It's all little stuff. So I'm hoping it's not going to be a huge issue to get it all. I'm still holding out that this guy may contact me. I'm not going to buy the gears right away. The bushings and stuff, they can't be more than a few dollars a piece. I'm going to go ahead and get those so I can move forward and get this thing running. And then the gears are the biggie. That's the one I'm going to hold out on and wait to see if he contacts me. If not, I'll start acquiring them. Other than that, let me show you what else I'm working on. I'm preparing to take this blank over to the disc sander. I'm going to square up the ends, and then I'm going to take it over to the lathe and see if I can turn it around. Keep your fingers crossed for me on this one. So far, so good. I've almost got the blank trued. It's turning really well. Down here where you've got the different types of wood, you can kind of see the bump there. You come along with your tool and you hit the different grains, and you have to kind of adjust your tool. And I'm out of practice because I haven't been working on the lathe for a while. But you need to increase the pressure here and then back off here and back off here. Otherwise, you'll divot those out, and those will be convex and those will be concave. So I just need to take my time and work through it. But I think it's going to be okay. I'll give you guys another shot here shortly. Well, I had to take a little break for dinner, and I'm going to show you my glue up. It's final glue up, just got made. It's drying. I got the pin on the lathe. I just put the 3rd coat of thin on it, and in a few minutes when I put it together, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. I just put the last section on my glue up. It's drying now. I'm really happy with how it looks. Next time I'm out in the shop, I'm going to cut diagonally the opposite direction, and that should make for a pretty wild pattern, and then we'll get it cut into individual blanks. It has been a great day in the shop. I got the off-cut blank glued up. It's ready for its next set of cuts. I'm going to let it dry for a little bit, and I'll do that next time I'm in the shop. I got my pin done. This is my first successful Gisi style blank. Now, I'm pretty happy with it. The only issue I have, and you can see right there how you can see between the maple, that kind of a dark spot. There's 2 things I could do to correct that. One of those things is I could use darker wood, but that's the cheater's way. I got to thinking about it, and I'm using my jig that I made for my bandsaw on the disc sander, and I got to looking. I got 60 grit sandpaper on there, and I think what's happening is it's so coarse, the sandpaper, and that's what's causing the gap. So I just the other day bought some 120 grit. I'm going to go ahead and swap out that disc, that sanding disc. And I think that's probably going to give me a much smoother, because the line is perfectly straight. It's not fitting together tight enough. And I think that additional scratching that I'm getting from the coarseness of that paper may be the issue. We're going to find out, because the rest of the stuff, where you got the straight cuts, they look pretty good. It's just right there where the 2 end pieces went together. And I'm going to work on that a little bit. Got the lathe broke down somewhat. I've decided I'm gonna take it completely apart. I was gonna do videos on it, and I got to working, and before I knew it, I had the thing apart, and it was like, man, no videos on this. Maybe I'll do something on putting it back together. But I got my list right over here. I'm gonna take it in the house after I do this video. Over the course of the next couple of nights, I'm gonna start sourcing some of the parts I need, and as they come in, perhaps I'll put it back together. I did notice something. Those the grease fittings on top are the oilers, and I forget what they're called. They have a name where you put the oil and you have the wicks. I was showing those. As I took the bearings out, someone has replaced the standard bearings that were in here with a set of conical shaped bearings. And Timken maybe is what those are called. So you put the oil down in there, but it doesn't go anywhere because you got the steel ring that the bearing rides in that's blocking the oil from getting into it. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I do have dust covers on both sides of the front and the back bearings. I think what I'm going to end up doing is packing the bearings with some grease and putting them back together, and that will probably take care of the situation. I need to find out if I can use like the same stuff I use, automotive grease that I use like on my trailer, or if I have to have a special type of grease. But like I said, with the dust covers, that's a high temperature grease that you use on a vehicle, so it's probably going to be pretty good. But I'm going to do a little research on that, and I'll keep you guys posted. Like I said, maybe as I put it back together, anybody can take something apart. Putting it back together is the tricky part. But anyway, that's all I got today, guys. It's been a great day in the shop. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hopefully I'll get some more time very soon, because I always enjoy it when I'm out here, and I do have some projects that I want to do and I want to share with you guys, especially this one. Now that I figured it out, I want to make another one, and I'd like to video that one and teach you guys how I do it. So hopefully you guys can start making some of these, and maybe even change the design up a little bit and come up with some of your own designs. So thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great evening, and I will see you again hopefully very soon.